idea of all time. It's the worst idea of all time. It's the worst idea of all time. Season 2.
Hello. Oh, God. There it is. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the 42nd episode
You've never said it with
season
conviction.
2 of the worst idea
For
of
a guy
all time.
who's great with numbers, you're no good with numbers.
I'm not that great with numbers. You need to talk into the microphone more, Guy Montgomery. I want to.
You,
I want to hear you.
you need to work harder with numbers. So
Here's what
we've
I
all
would.
got things to work on this week, Tim.
Here's what I would like to bring up straight off. I would like to say a massive thank you to this episode's sponsor, which is Karma Cola, which is bloody good stuff.
It is. I would like to describe it as sort of the lifeblood of this episode of the worst idea of all time. We've been chugging this stuff for hours now.
Yeah.
We've filled up the studio in which we record. We're up to our shins in Karma Cola. It's nuts.
If you can hear that beautiful tone that's on the podcast this week, it's because of the gorgeous ingredients in Karma Cola have invaded the microphone. They're in all my equipment now, and I'm okay with it. It's good.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was pretty. It's watching you pour it over all of this technical equipment. I was like, that can't be right.
And yet, here we are,
Yeah.
sounding better than ever.
I would also like to qualify that by saying if you do own technical equipment and you do enjoy Karma Cola, don't take the risk Tim did. I think this is
Yeah,
a
don't
once.
do it at home. This is a oncer.
Yeah.
But I would like to say Karma Cola is bloody good shit. You can't get in the States yet, but I think they're trying to make a play to get in there next year or something. But if you're in the UK, have a hunt round, grab one, tell them your old mates Timbo and Guy sent you. And,
Tell the store
smile.
owner.
Yeah.
Tell the corner store owner. You go, I'll tell you who
Confuse
sent
them.
me here.
Baffle them.
Tim and Guy.
He'll be like, what are you talking about, mate?
He's like, oh, it was Tim and Guy, wasn't it?
Oh, demo. I don't know what that accent was.
Where are you from, mister? You got a mighty interesting voice.
I am an old geezer from Old Geezerville.
Is that in any known country on planet Earth, or is that sort of just a make-believe land?
Old England, but do not press me on what part.
I won't. Frankly,
Yeah,
I'd
don't.
just like to buy this Karma Cola and leave the store. It's a mighty fine product. It's my favourite.
All right, why don't you tell your mother about it?
I will.
All right.
I'll tell my whole family.
There we go. That was a little little summary of what might happen to you if you're in the UK and you buy Karma.
Sounds interesting.
Karma Cola, go buy it. Now listen, Guy, here's what I really want to kick this off with. This has been sent in by a listener, and I'm so fucking ecstatic about it. Her name was Becky Weston, Weston. I really appreciated getting the message on this one, Becky.
It's a good thing you spelled out that surname.
Yeah, so
Otherwise
everyone
people
can find you.
Might not know who to find. Yeah.
Now listen, Becky sent in a message telling us, Jared from a TV show, oft forgotten but very underrated, The Pretender, that was on in the 90s. Or maybe early 2000s.
I don't know this show.
The Pretender was amazing. The Pretender it had this, the intro, the beginning, I still kind of remember it. It was like some black and white footage, and it was Jared like popping in and out, and Miss Parker was there as well. And it was like, there are pretenders among us. Geniuses with the ability to become whoever they want to be. And it was about this guy, Jared, who was born at this institute, and he was like a genius. And then he broke out of there because they kept doing experiments on him. And he basically would just go in quantum leap style and like assume a position within the community for a little while. And then Miss Parker and the institute would like catch up on him. They were always hot on his heels. So it was like this real cat and mouse game. Anyway.
Who, as an audience member, you obviously were meant to sympathise with Jared.
Yeah. So
Just
Jared
like
was this lovely guy. He was often like, I remember him being a doctor. I remember seeing him in a
So
lab code lot.
he'd roll into a community and assume like a role of a pillar. He would be of tremendous use.
Yeah, and I think that's
and
how
value.
It's a long time since I've seen it, but I think that's kind of how the series worked. That he was this tremendous force for good in the community.
So the Institute was evil.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. They were painted very much as the villain, as the antagonist in the series that was trying to take him down. Anyway, I'm loath to even bring this up because I'm so embarrassed, frankly. But Jared is the guy who I first assumed was an assassin after Mr. Big at the gay wedding, who says, "You have a good night," and it's incredible because it completely fits the mythos of that original series.
Sense.
He has somehow infiltrated this high society wedding happening in Connecticut, and it's how amazing is that? Jared's there.
Do you know what it is? He recognizes Mr. Big as a fellow genius who's been undergoing like sort of quite abrasive and unfair treatment, at the hands of the Institute, in this instance, the gals.
I think you're right.
And he's like coming in to try and fucking save the day.
Ah, so good.
But he has to pull back.
It's so satisfying to see like a character that I'd forgotten about, but I used to love The Pretender. It was such a good show. Fuck, it was good.
When would you watch it?
At night.
Was
at
it
night as a kid?
Were you of age to watch it, or were you sort of?
Yeah,
was it a bit of a treat?
From memory, it wasn't too hard out. It kind of had like not quite X-Files level. I think it had a punt at keeping things sort of a bit thrillerish, you know?
Yeah.
It was kind of, there were some aspects that were a bit MacGyver-y about it because you'd often have to kind of like really improvise solutions to situate. It was bloody good show.
MacGyver didn't invent problem solving.
I remember it being on around the same time as Viper. Did you ever hear about Viper? Viper was ludicrous, but such good fun. It was about a Viper car and like this team that used the Viper, and the Viper could like change color and go into 4-wheel drive mode, and it had a mini It was probably the world's first drone, actually. It had this little helicopter that flew off it. It was like Transformers, but in
like
the real world.
A shitty adaptation of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
It was like the most amazing
Sounds like a
of,
90s Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
most amazing bit of just a corporation making its own. It was like branded content, but a bastardization of it before the concept even really existed.
Dick Van Dyke voiced Viper in the same way David Hasselhoff voiced Knight Rider.
God, that'd be good.
I'll tell you what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's more Michael Caine than Dick Van Dyke.
Okay, you can
Turn
gravitate
left
towards
at the
that.
next intersection. And that's,
Who was that?
they're both having a bit of trouble with their voice modulation.
Right, gotcha.
Gotcha.
So look,
Put it
so
in the
satisfied
bank.
for that. And the other bit of listener submitted feedback that I would be, what's the word? Like
Remiss.
To not bring up is, and I'm so sorry, I've forgotten who sent me this. I was trying to look for it before, but I couldn't find your name. I really apologize. But someone gave me a bloody hot tip. The Suzanne Summers book that features extensively
Breakthrough.
throughout this movie, Breakthrough, is in the movie as a result of zero spend. There's not product placement. Michael Patrick King just fucking loves the book.
Seriously.
Suzanne, someone gave me the link. I should post it actually on the Facebook. Of Suzanne Summers' blog post when she talks about it, and she's like, believe it or not, I paid $0 to get this book into the film. Michael Patrick King is just all about it.
Was the post sort of Suzanne Summers distancing herself from the fit? Was it sort of like
she was
look,
flattered beyond
okay.
belief, as you could imagine. If someone like took your book, if you were someone famous for being in a like 90s sitcom, and then the Thigh Master, and then your next thing is a book.
She
which
was
may
the
not get
host
picked
of
up.
Figure It Out on
Was
Nickelodeon.
Was that a kid's?
It's Figure It Out with
was one
your
of the game
host.
shows,
Su-
eh?
Yeah.
I remember the other one where Where in the World Is Carmen Sandiego, the game.
Yeah.
Was that Nickelodeon?
Where
And there's that other one that had a big tiki torch thing that talked to you. What was that one called?
Legend. No,
Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah.
Good show. Anyway,
That was a good show. Those temple guards were terrifying.
hey Nickelodeon, good shout, good yard.
You know they're launching a channel which is just it's entirely comprised of 90s Nickelodeon shows.
Man, you'd think they're paying us for this, eh?
Yeah.
We're Suzanne Summersing Nickelodeon. All of a sudden, I feel very close to Michael Patrick King.
I
Very
always
close.
feel it's
Not as close as last week.
Well, I think the important distinction to make is that from our discovery of listening back to what Michael and Patrick King recorded on the last episode is that's two people, baby. That's
Didn't
crazy.
know that. Didn't know that going into this film. But now
Well,
we do.
no.
Guy,
Tim.
there's two people I want to talk about after watching this movie for the 42nd
Second
time.
with conviction.
For the 42nd time. One of them is Brady, and the other one is Dick Bart. I want to talk about Brady and Dick Bart. Oh, yes, I do. I want to talk about Brady and Dick Bart, so I think I will.
How about you?
Oh, Brady and Dick Bart, they're gonna have a battle, don't you know? Who's gonna come out victorious? Only Cher do know, only Cher do know. Only Cher do know.
Do you believe in Brady and Dick Bart? I can feel something inside saying Brady is going fucking insane.
Brady he's in charge of all the rats, and he hasn't been lingering around the podcast nearly as much as I would have liked the past couple episodes to be H.
How much power is there in harnessing all of the rats?
That's kind of the perpetual question, isn't it? And I think it's kind of infinite. I was I went for a run for the first time in ages yesterday down Western Springs Way, and there were rabbits fucking everywhere. Not the verb, the adjective. They were all over the shop, all over that park. And it got me thinking, like, if you've got enough resources, animals are just, it's a limitless supply of, it's like the Matrix. It's like when they turned us into batteries and they just farm us. It's like that,
I do. You do have to look at it like that, because farming rats, I've not done it much myself, but I'm very close to people who own rat farms.
What's the Simpsons quote? Say what you will about this country, $10 still buys you a lot of rats. Is that the Simpsons?
I don't know. It's very funny though.
Bloody good.
So yeah, I've not worked at a rat farm, but I've got family members who own pretty prominent rat farms here in New Zealand, and the thing is, you can breed them. Rats breed like crazy.
Oh yeah, they are. It's what they're famous for.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, once you've got, say, God knows how many rats there are in New York. I would argue there's 2 rats to every person in New York City. At least.
I honestly reckon way more than that. Maybe like 6 times.
What are there like, I guess, 9 million people in New York City?
We're really going to show our ignorance here. No, I think it's more than that. I think it's north of that.
No, we'll call it 9.
A city. Yeah, I guess 9 million's a lot.
So that means that there are
I'm going to Google it. We're going to look like arseheads.
Brady, before he's even left the sewers of New York, has harnessed the power of 54 million rats.
Were you going by 6?
Yeah. No, I was going by 9.
By 9.
9 million people, there are 6 times as many rats. What I'm saying here is that rats are pretty indifferent to whether or not they're fucking relatives or, friends, ex-partners, or whatever the, whatever the
that we do.
They don't have the same foibles that we humans do.
Nice work, man. The population of NYC at the latest census in 2013 was 8.4 mil. I want to give you a high five,
That
brother.
is a pretty good one.
Yeah, bloody good.
Which makes that 54 million number rat figure all the more terrifying. So they all breed. I mean, what's a rat litter? 30?
Yeah, I'd say so. Maybe like slightly less than that,
We're
maybe 20.
fast approaching numbers of henchmen or hench rats that I can't even tally in my head.
Thing is, right, here's what must be happening with the rats. It's like cockroaches. If you see one, that means there's 100 in your walls. So with the rats, when they pop up, they're representing this. They're like the tip of the iceberg. The ones that you see, absolute tip of the iceberg. So what's happening is the rats are only every now and then having the gall to come up to grab a bit of pizza from a Subway or something, and then they scurry back down. But underground, where we can't see them, they are like just absolutely thriving down there.
Undoubtedly. And now I think it's very important I put the question to you, Tim.
Yeah.
How many rats, armed with nothing but your limbs and body and mind, how many rats would it take to take you down? What's the max number before...
Trained or untrained? Like, are these Brady's rats or just normal rats?
Normal rats first.
Okay, normal rats to actually... I don't think it would be that many, to be honest. I reckon...
Less than 100?
Yeah, I was thinking around the 100 figure. If they were like good... Okay, are they water rats or just other rats? Because water rats grow
miscellaneous,
very big.
a mix of everything.
That's a good way to look at it. I'm going to say 50. 75.
No, 75 is more fair. You'd definitely take down 50 rats.
Yeah, I reckon I could take down 50.
You start tiring between 60 and 70.
Yeah, that's what I feel too. It's around that figure when you'd really start slowing down.
I like the thing I could do 100.
Yeah.
I look at them like wheat bix.
You're a little
how
taller
many
than
can
me
you
too.
do? They got further to move.
Yeah.
Pretty much what I'm saying is, fuck, once Brady mobilizes, the East Coast, like certainly New York, the city, and then eventually the wider state, the surrounding cities, Newark, Boston, Connecticut, Philadelphia, maybe as far as Atlanta, they're all going to fall.
Right off. This is the thing, and it's interesting you say the word fall, because this is what I see going down. Like the rats are just expanding their empire under the crust of the earth, right? Where we're up just doing our thing. Those sinkholes that happen, they might well be Brady's rats or just normal rats, just absolutely caning it because they hollow shit out to make their little community.
I've always thought a sinkhole is one of the gods getting frustrated with another one of the gods' territory and just touching a world map.
Oh man, that's terrifying. Do you think the gods are that vindictive?
Yeah, I reckon.
They're out there just having really petty fights with each other and just killing.
Exactly how I think. I think
What
the
a bleak
gods
vision of
they're
religion.
just more powerful versions of us.
It would make sense because in like all of the, well, I don't know, most of the religious stuff I hear about, we're made in his or her or their graven image.
Yeah.
So like, if we're being jerks here, they're probably being jerks up there too.
Absolutely. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So the rats could spread as far as Atlanta.
Just try and transition out of a
Further
genuine
still,
moment of connection with the spiritual world.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
What I'm trying to say is, I mean, first of all, Dickbot, it's very difficult for him to even have any gauge on the movement of these rats. If a lot of their work is being done underground, I mean, what is, aside from the fact he's immortal in a sense, what is Dickbot going for him?
Well, I mean,
immortality, obviously, pretty valuable play in any battle to the death.
I don't see him as being immortal, but it's like, what's the word? Or like, maybe you're right. He is immortal, but he's not invulnerable. So this is like a classic comic book character thing where he could theoretically live forever because he just keeps like transitioning his consciousness into a different body, right? But you
cannot
could
destroy
kill
him.
Well, you could though. If you kind of like got him into one container and then destroyed that container, then he's gone.
So if he was in Dickbot,
so if he was just in Dickbot,
and then the
you
rats
destroyed, if the
200 rats or whatever the number that Dickbot
bro,
take
he could
down.
take on way more than us.
Yeah,
though.
no, he could
Not
take
just
on millions.
Double. Yeah, a shit ton. Because what would happen with us if we fought all of Brady's rats is they'd take chunks out of us and we'd start bleeding out. But with Dickbot, he's presumably made of iron or titanium or some kind of really strong metal. And what would the rats do? They try and bite in. They can't even get their like teeth into it,
It would be rat-proof metal.
It would be rat-proof
Undoubtedly.
metal. Yeah. It'd take so many rats.
To any up-and-coming or established scientists listening who are building AI at the moment, I mean...
If you're involved in mechatronics, I'd love to hear from you.
I'd also love to hear what the actual term is for rat-proof. So it can't just be as colloquial as rat-proof. That doesn't ring very true for me.
Do you reckon there's got to be another word for rats? You know how like cows are bovine and cats are feline?
Oh,
and
yeah.
Dogs are cat. Hey, everything rhymes with, ends with 9. What's that about?
Latin, presumably.
Yeah, true. Touche, Gom.
But
Nine.
Beyond being able to survive millions of an onslaught from millions of rats, I mean, what has Dickbot got going into this battle?
This is the great unknown. The great variable is: has he pushed his consciousness into a different container before he started to fight? Like, is he just in that one shell?
Can he split his consciousness?
Well, I feel like he's like a digital consciousness, so it's more like he spreads it rather than splits it. He transitions everything into another. I watched that. Charlie Broker did a Dark Mirror,
Black Mirror
series. Black Mirror, I beg your pardon. And I watched the first episode of that the other night. Even though it came out a couple of years ago.
I also watched the first episode of that in between the last episode of the podcast.
So it's like that. That's weird that we both watched that this week.
Yeah.
Very odd. So that's it. That's got a storyline in it about the kind of transition of digital consciousness into a different device. It's like along those lines, you know?
No, the first one I watched was about the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Were you watching Ep 1? I was watching something called White Christmas. Oh, maybe I was watching the first episode of Season 3.
That's possible.
Starting there and working
First
back.
episode of Season 1, and it got a little bit of press recently when all the information about David Cameron came out. It's a bit of a spoiler. Yeah, like the entire premise of the episode is built around the notion that a terrorist has kidnapped the Princess of Wales, and the terms for the return of the princess are that the Prime Minister of the UK has to have sexual intercourse with a pig live on national television.
Charlie Broker, you genius. That's so good.
Yeah.
That is bloody good from
It
him.
is a sensational watch.
I'll go back to the first season. That one I saw was real dark.
So yeah, explain the concept of the technology shifting.
Oh, look, it's basically, you know how there's Siri? It'd be like if you only had Siri in one phone versus the very distributed nature that she's in now. You know, that's what I'm saying. So like if we've got Dickbot just existing in one metallic...
No, he's more omnipresent than that.
Yeah, you'd think, you would think.
For how advanced this robot is, you think they're going to just refine it to one...
And with the internet, he would basically his consciousness would act as a virus. So this is why I think he could take the rats down.
So
as many rats as there are.
Essentially, this represents the ultimate battle between...
It's like life and digital existence.
Pure animal...
Yeah, pure biological and pure tech.
Fuck. me.
Yeah,
so,
I know.
I mean, and a lot of his plan falls down on the sense that he is mainwiring a lot of electricity across America from the Pentagon. I mean, the Pentagon, in rat terms, is there for the taking. That's just a bunch of wires.
It is.
You've got millions and millions, probably billions almost, of mobilized rats. I mean, they can make fucking quick work of that. So, in essence, it's a race to the Pentagon.
Here's what the rats were missing before. So, like, in our current time, here's what's gone wrong. They don't have good leadership. It's like how people say if the ants decided to, they could probably take over us because there's like by weight more of them than there is of us, and they're real strong and shit.
But ants lack leadership.
They have some leadership within their colony, but they lack like a maybe that's the only thing that separates us from other animals. That we were able to organize ourselves on like a species-wide level rather than just in
that
little...
we instilled like an overriding hierarchy beyond
beyond just
singular strains,
beyond your little clique.
That's not a great read for humans. We just enforced rules with a more widespread efficiency than any other animal.
Yeah.
Do you think I reckon whales probably are running the ocean in the same way humans run the land. I
reckon they're telling everyone what to do.
They can talk. Whales speak different languages.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's different strains of whale.
Fuck.
I speak two.
Do you?
There's one.
Yeah, there's the first dialect. Interesting how they have different ranges, different timbres.
Different sizes.
Yeah, I guess that would be it, wouldn't it? Everything makes a sound subject to its size. The rats, very high-pitched. The humans, somewhere in the mid. Whales, very low, very bassy. Great
Except for those big whales with the high voices.
But that's embarrassing.
Well, no, they're no different from the other whales. In essence, though, would you disagree that the premise of this battle, I mean, the battleground, in essence, is the Pentagon's in Washington, D.C.?
Oh, undeniably, yeah. The seat of power, literally.
So Brady's got a head start. I mean,
why?
Because New York City to Washington, D.C.
but Dick Bot
versus...
can travel through the internet. So even if Brady had to catch a train with his rats, he would get there slower. Although if Dick Bot is using the metal body he was given...
I do not think that Brady is travelling by train.
He might be.
He might be. The rats aren't.
What, a helicopter or something?
Do sewers run between entire cities?
Yeah. I think within a state, definitely. I don't know if they go across state lines.
Well,
probably
he's mobilised a certain amount of them to just travel by sewer, and then the others, the water rats, he's trained up to travel through rivers, tributaries, any sort of flowing water between cities.
Do you know what would be incredible if there were so many rats, and because they're under the leadership of King Brady, they were able to create like chariots where a fucking 1,000 rats would get together and form one wheel and act as a wheel, and then like so there's 4,000 rats as wheels, and then like 10 million have formed the platform, and then all the other rats are on top just chilling while these 4,000 rats are like running around in a circle like a wheel propelling it forward. Imagine seeing that on the horizon approaching you, like 20 million rats all comprising a fucking chariot thing with Brady riding up top.
I struggle to think of anything that's more terrifying than the very striking visual image
it's like
that you've conjured.
Just, it starts off like anything else does, a dot on the horizon, and before you know it, it's blackening the skies.
It's a dot on the horizon, and then also just dust gently rising around your feet. I didn't know that this carpeted floor was so dusty.
Yeah. Oh, man. Terrifying.
So
Dick Bot, though, everything would be shiny. It's less scary.
So I guess you'd rather Dick Bot triumphed.
I feel like the death at Dick Bot's hand would be cleaner.
It's interesting because it does. This is an extension of during the movie. I sort of accused you in general of eventually, within our lifetime, I think we'll get to a point where you'll be forced to make a decision between technology and humanity. And I think your ultimate undoing will be that you are more likely to preserve or save or side with technology.
Now, why do you think that'll be my undoing?
I felt like I articulated it much better before
I think it may be my ultimate triumph. Yeah, I wasn't going to help you complete your sentence.
No, obviously I'm laying something against you. Yeah.
It was because I almost spelt a drink on your laptop and then I didn't. And you were like, yeah, dude, this is how it's going to go down.
Yeah, because you chose to spill it on yourself rather than a laptop. And I think that will...
It's a good thing. It was your laptop.
Yeah, I know, but I just think that
Maybe
you'll carry that through your entire life.
I like that the reading of that could have potentially been good on Tim for taking a hit instead of damaging someone's property, but your takeaway is Tim doesn't like humans, Tim loves tech.
Yeah.
You're a real piece of shit, Montgomery.
Hey,
I've
at least I
told you for a while,
I
but
love human
I'm gonna
beings.
tell you now.
You fucking animal.
I love human
beings. Or the
beings
opposite
too.
of an animal, robot.
I love human beings so much that I'm willing to like sacrifice myself.
Why don't you run away and marry Scarlett Johansson's voice?
maybe I would if you give me the chance, mate.
She wouldn't. She's already in love with millions of other pieces of technology.
Yeah, I guess so. Hey, look, Shining Light. Oh, I did have something for this.
Yeah,
do you remember
got me to
what
write
was?
it down. I'll find it for you. I don't have one, so
You've got to have one. Those are the rules.
no, I don't have one written down.
Well, oh my God, we haven't made our big announcement yet either. We got merch now, bitches.
Yeah,
we really
do.
shouldn't bury this in the middle of the episode. We'll remind you at the end. Really should have put it at the top. We like just
right
finished.
after a deeply speculative conversation about.
We just finished making a merch store for the website. If
You have just finished. In fairness, Tim has built the whole thing from scratch while I've sat idly by.
Yeah, I was sweating too. It was really.
Yeah, you really were.
I'm not at all confident it's gonna work, but
I think
yeah.
it'll work. I think it'll absolutely work.
If you go to worstideaofalltime.com/merch, or you just go to the front page and it'll direct you there. There's a first up the top of the page is a donate button through PayPal, which many people have asked for over the months and months that we've been doing this. They're like, we want to give you guys some money. We've been listening for ages. Like, how do we do it? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which is, probably stupid on my part, but whatevs. Happy to biff them out for free up until now. But now we are cashing in and selling out. Buy some
as
shit.
best we goddamn can.
So, like, if you want to make a donation, please send us a message on Facebook as well, and like, we'll read something out for you. You know, if you want to be on the potty, we'll do a little shout out.
Yeah.
But we've got t-shirts on there of our tattoos.
Yeah.
That we've got, so you can wear it semi-permanently.
We've got data caps.
The
Obviously.
tattoo, by the way, is Paddy Schwartz Party Time with some REO Speedwagon lyrics in Latin.
Some almost accurate Latin. We've got the original LP cover for the very popular ska band Intergalactic Glory Hole available.
It's Mr. Big's 15-piece Kinks cover
16
band.
piece.
16-piece, if you include him. It's more of a band leader. I don't know if I'd chuck him in the mix.
He's playing an instrument.
Featuring fan favourite Tyrone Wishbone. Oh, I struggle with it every time because I love him so much I get choked up halfway through his
You get
name.
nervous.
And we've got the drinking rules as a poster as well for grown-ups too.
We don't need to look. It's all available. If
Oh,
you're
you go
curious,
have a look.
you'll look at it. But congratulations, Tim, and congratulations, us.
I remember what my shining light was.
Okay.
It's when they're just like at the beginning of sussing out the trip with Samantha. They're sitting down at the launch of Heart of the Desert, the film premiere. And the Sheikh says, I want you to make Abu Dhabi a star like you did for Smith Garrett. But there's a massive emphasis on Smith Garrett's name.
Yeah, you feel like it was the last take of the day. It was just a classic. Just do one.
Michael, no. I reckon Michael was like, yeah, we need to hear Smith Garrett. This is important for the thing. He's like, I've been saying Smith Garrett the entire time very clearly. I've been enunciating. He's like, I need it a little slower,
Yeah.
a little
He's like,
firmer.
I'll take the piss on one.
It's like, all right, Michael, how about
Yeah.
this? I want you to make Abu Dhabi a star like you did for Smith Garrett.
But Michael and Patrick King are so unpredictable. They were like, yes, perfect,
Yeah,
buy
nailed it.
That's lunch, everybody.
I love it though. It's bloody enjoyable this go around. Tell you that. Do you have one? I know you didn't before.
Of course
but
I
times
do.
have changed.
I'm packed to the gills with shining lights.
Go on then.
What I really like is when Steve is just in the movie. He's a goddamn treasure. This is so weak. He's a goddamn treasure. He's adorable. He's one of the few people whose mythology we haven't sullied by speculative ideas about what he might get up to in his spare time. And I think that reflects positively on him and on us.
Steve,
the broad idea of Steve.
has it occurred to you that the two characters arguably we love the most in both seasons? Wow, characters. You know, Steve Buscemi was a massive feature of season one. The Steve Buscemi mystery tour I look forward to every week.
Yeah.
And in this season, we've got another different Steve.
My father's name is Stephen.
Is this
Read from that what you will.
is this where it's all come down from?
I've got...
Is this Guy Montgomery desperately reaching out to his father for approval, saying, "Love me, Daddy, I'm doing something
I've found
now."
a pretty obscure channel to do it, if that's what it is.
We're all just looking for our dad's approval at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's what we're
If
all
you
here
can
to
wade
do.
through 98 and a half episodes of the podcast and stumble into this gem, fucking full credit to your dad. Now you know how much I love you. And anyone listening, namely any other family members, don't you fucking tell him this is buried here, all right?
Shout out to my papa too. I feel like I should chuck this in. He's a good man. Love you, Andy. You good
This is
dude.
quite cute. We're just burying our love for our parents.
Right in episode 99, or release 99 of the
Yeah.
podcast. We looked at that before because I thought it might be number 100. Number 100.
What a journey it's been. Hey, squabba bo bo bo. Whoa, 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 doo 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 bo bo. Well, he bit all the he dogs and she kissed all the he dogs and scooter boo boo.
Skip it a bar. Where's he going? What's his
he
favorite
wearing?
DC character?
Well, he is wearing a fedora as a disguise from his distinctive coffee-stained hair.
The fedora. He's wanting to hang out among the internet elites, blend in like a cool guy.
That's right. The origins of the fedora can be traced back to the etymology. Fe, the periodic symbol for iron. Do, as in be active.
Yes.
Ra, as in, oh, scary.
Yeah.
So, you know, a scary, active
Of iron.
metal. It's a reference to Dickbot.
It is. Everything, all
Scary
roads
active metal.
lead back to Dickbot or Brady. One or
That was
t'other.
his code name, Scary Active Metal. Fact.
What was he doing though? I mean, where was he going?
he's going to a
What's he up
record
to?
store.
Is he?
Yeah,
Is
he was going to buy
is he
the-
going to Amoeba?
Yeah, he's going to Amoeba to buy an Intergalactic Glory Hole album.
Yes, he is.
In all seriousness, I barely noticed him this week.
Oh. That's a shame.
So that's the thing, though, is that we speculate about him so often, week to week. And then, you know, and it doesn't happen very often because you get excited by the idea of him and you tune in and hone into his movements. But
Pretty much got a countdown
because he's
for him.
only there for like 8 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, he's easy to miss if you kind of, yeah.
if you don't know
he's
he's there, God, he's a hero.
He is, isn't he? He really shoulders that scene, I think. Because otherwise you've just got 4 women you don't care about in a cafe talking about nothing. But luckily he's there to save the goddamn day by just drinking a bunch of coffee. If we ignore the events that happen after his departure off screen, even if you just analyse what we see on screen, he's still a legend for just drinking a stupid amount of coffee. Just take it at what it is.
There's
Call
a fine
spade
line.
a spade.
Yeah.
Good
I know.
dude. Great guy.
He treads a fine line between a legend and reckless. The pace at which he consumes that
Everyone does.
scalding hot Java.
The line between genius and insanity is measured only by success. And Coffee Guy has done so much stuff with his life. You could not possibly accuse him of being a slouch, a failure, or a madman. He's a goddamn genius. You know?
I
What he
mean,
exploits.
yeah. So, you know, and fair enough, all power to him. He's taking a day off. He's going record shopping.
Yeah, that's what cool people do when they have a day off. They go look at music, physical music.
Yeah. Because what cool people like to do is slow down the process of actually getting to hear the music. It's called building hype. The more cumbersome the method of music playing is, the more release of pheromones or dopamine or whatever the good feelings are.
It's like Simon and Garfunkel said. I don't know if it's their song actually. Slow down. Don't
You
go
move
too
too
fast.
fast.
You move too fast. You got to make the moment last. Is that them?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
A
know,
song.
they're wise dudes.
Mistakenly thought to be about premature ejaculation.
Feeling groovy, as we all are. Tell you what I'm interested in though. It's the strange old brown, old dusty, old leather-bound book sitting in a shelf, all by its lonesome, gathering particles, just waiting to be picked up. Whew. Blowing on. Blow those cobwebs away. Brush them away.
It's amazing, considering that big scribes in this book week by week. It's amazing how much dust and cobwebs it accumulates in between entries.
Oh, yeah.
The office is filthy. There's no air ventilation.
Yeah. It's disgusting.
just sort of grime and dust and all that kind of lint and all that stuff. It accumulates seriously quickly.
So what he's done is he's come up with this theory that everyone works better in that kind of an environment. This is why it's so dusty. It's no mistake that it's so dusty and gross. It's because Mr. Big believes that enhances his ability to second-guess the stock market, which he can't accurately read due to his colour blindness.
And vertigo.
Being in such a tall office. And big numbers as well. It has the same effect as being up high. It's all the same thing in your head. His theory is basically that when you have good ideas, you need to kind of bathe in them, wash around in them, and stretch them out, really like lounge around inside of them. And what happens when you have proper air ventilation is the good ideas, they get sucked up. They get sucked away into the aircon, and the filters capture the good ideas. And you don't want them in those HEPA filters.
He's a sort of conspiracist. I mean, there's not a lot of science to support his fears, but it's tangible, the notion that
it is to him.
Good ideas are sucked out of... I mean, he actively campaigns against heat pumps, air conditioning.
Oh, yeah.
Windows.
It's Mr. Big's belief that the reason why people get so dried out when they're in air-conditioned rooms is because it's trapping little parts of your soul.
Because the notion of air ventilation is actually like trying to overtake humanity.
It's weird, though. The danger is that basically any environment he's in for too long just fills up with CO2. He's going to give himself carbon dioxide poisoning one of these days. Bloody cark it.
His body has sort of learned to adjust, and he can absorb and breathe in an exorbitant amount of
CO2.
Yeah, without consequence. Anyway, the etchings in the book essentially explain these. I mean, we've done a pretty good job of deciphering. God, I mean, now I'm looking at the book again. It's throwing my language. It's all pretty much written half in wingdings and half in webdings.
Listen, we're going to wrap this up because I think you've got to get out of here.
I really do.
You've got a place to be. What I would like to say is go check out the merch store. We've got a few things on there now. It's all done by people who love the podcast. That's what I love about it. And we give all the artists 20% of whatever we make, which is good for whatever they designed. Which I don't know. It seems roughly right. I hope that's okay. I hope that's all right.
I think it's fair.
I don't
know anything.
We've got that donate button on there. You could give whatever you want on that. You could give $1. I'd love $1. I'd love to get some $1 donations in there. That'd be mean. Be real cool. And we love you guys. Good on you.
Good on you.
And good on Karma Cola.
Good on you, whose ears I'm crawling through right now. Through your ear cavity.
Let's get in there. Let's really get in there. Get in there. Oh, no, get in there. Really get in there.
No, I'm sort of just whispering.
Hey, buddy.
Like I'm whispering across your brain. It's like a breeze of wind across the top of your brain.
How you doing? It's just old Timbo.
What are you doing in this person's brain?
I'm just making myself comfy, grabbing a chair.
All nice squidgy brain.
Just grabbing a cup of tea.
Don't even need a chair. You can just settle your buttocks into this brain. Feel it's quite absorbent. It's quite spongy.
I'm going to sleep now, okay?
You're going to have a nap in a brain.
Yeah. Night.
That's how people get migraines, is from people sleeping in their brains. You're unconscious. I'm going to leave. I'm sorry you've got a migraine now. It's Tim's fault. It's nothing to do with me. Rate and review on iTunes.
It's the worst idea of all time. It's the worst idea of all time. It's the worst idea of all time.